people of France had been overtaken and occupied. Their way of life was under attack, and it looked as if it would be changed forever. French citizens peered through shop windows and cafe doors to see Nazi soldiers standing on street corners, checking papers and moving people along. Their presence was felt everywhere, their power absolute. The spirits of many had been broken, and they struggled to settle into the new normal. Some citizens simply tried to do nothing and just get by. But of course, doing nothing is doing something. The course of history had led them here, and many chose to get used to it rather than end up on the wrong side of it. But not everyone. From the beginning of the Nazi invasion, there were those who would not accept being conquered. They were called les résistants, people from every economic, religious, and political background who refused to back down. Foolish as it may have seemed, considering the circumstances. In fact, there was a phrase for those who weren't willing to face the inevitability of Nazi victory: refus absurde, the absurd refusal of those who insisted on resistance. Simone Seguin was one such person who embraced the absurdity that the enemy's conquest would not last forever, not if she had anything to say about it. An 18-year-old woman from a small village outside of Paris, Seguin joined the resistance in 1944 and soon found herself in the thick of dangerous missions, stealing a German officer's bicycle, derailing a train, blowing up bridges, and assisting in an operation that captured 25 German troops in her own hometown, work that would later earn her the prestigious Croix de Guerre. She gained international fame after appearing in the September 1944 edition of Life magazine in images taken during the liberation of Paris. Her youthful face, paired with her battle-hardened resolve, inspired the world and increased awareness of and appreciation for the French resistance as a whole. And it was a movement worthy of respect. Though only about 2% of the French population was actively involved, they were nearly 300,000 in number. Many small cells of fighters were spread throughout the country, each one organized to inflict maximum damage on the enemy with propaganda, ambushes of enemy soldiers, intelligence gathering, sabotage, and rescuing Allied soldiers trapped behind enemy lines. Double agents and intelligence breaches made participation in the resistance a deadly risk. Over 30,000 French hostages were shot by the Nazis to intimidate those who persisted in their rebellion. But the resistance lived on. And when the advancing Allied armies arrived in France, General Eisenhower himself said that the resistance fighters' contributions were equal to those of 15 armored divisions. So what about you, church? As you look at the world around you, it might seem like we are under occupation, our culture firmly in the hands of those who care nothing of God's word or the love of Jesus. It can be tempting to give in to the new normal, to do nothing and say nothing. But we are the people of God, and silence is not an option. We don't seem like much at times. Like the French resistance, the church can seem like a weak, ineffective movement, plagued by double agents and half-hearted devotees. But the invasion of this world has begun at the cross of Jesus. This world and its prince live on borrowed time, for liberation is on its way, and we are agents of its arrival. God's kingdom certainly comes without our prayer or effort, but He has chosen to use us anyway. He has organized us in small cells spread throughout the world to use the explosive love of Christ to derail Satan's plans, to be aware of the enemy's movements and designs, to publish peace in a world at war, to rescue poor sinners trapped behind enemy lines. The enemy will not rest, and never has. The noble army of martyrs of whom the world was not worthy is testament enough both to this world's brutality against those who serve the one who has overcome it, and to the powerful love of God and the true nature of His victory. No matter what mockery we endure, No matter what persecution may come, we will not give in. We fight unseen enemies, not with gun or sword, but with the word and the Spirit of the living God. We are the resistance.